Welcome back to AM Northwest. Fall brings falling interest rates and new rules around selling a home. Here to share more, we welcome back real estate broker Michelle Maida. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Let's talk about that new rule, how it affects us if we want to buy a home, sell a home. Yeah.
Well, if you know, this is really funny, and I'm going to try to explain it. And I will tell you that we had outside counsel doing a class on it in our office on Tuesday. I had another class with the relocation department. We've got another one coming up next week, and I think they'll be ongoing because it's just so different. And the new rule, basically the new rule is that we cannot advertise a buyer's commission on the multiple listing service anymore.
Okay.
So what that involves is buyers have to have signed a buyer-broker agreement with their broker. So I cannot show a house to you unless you've signed a buyer-broker agreement with me, which outlines my duties and how much I expect my commission to be.
I see.
So now commissions can be paid three ways.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really tricky because what it comes down to, you know, in the past, the sellers didn't really pay the buyers. It came out of the price and we priced it for that. So it kind of falls into that probably 90% of the time now. First thing you can do is that
you're saying 90% of the time it doesn't really have an impact.
It doesn't have an impact.
Okay.
No, it's going to be this kind of the same for a buyer and seller, just getting there in a whole different way.
Okay.
So there are three different things that the seller can decide to do. A seller can decide to offer a buyer agent commission. I still can't advertise it, but buyers agents will call me and say, is your seller showing courtesy to broker?
Okay.
And if so, how much? And it has to be a set amount. We can't be loosey-goosey. It's like I'm offering 2.25% or 2.5%. A seller can leave it open for a buyer to write in a concession and an offer that will cover the cost of the buyer's broker's commission.
I see.
And that way we negotiate it. They might write in a concession for 3% to pay 3% to the buyer broker.
Right.
Seller might say, no, I'm only going to pay 2. We might end up at 2.5 or 2.25. And then the third one is that a seller can just out and out refuse to pay a buyer's agent commission.
Oh.
Now, when the buyer signs the buyer-broker agreement and they sign it for, say, 2.5%, that broker, when they sell them a house, is going to get paid 2.5% in one of those three ways.
Yeah.
Third way being out of the buyer's pocket.
Oh, wow.
I don't think a lot of people are going to pick that option.
No.
Because if a buyer can't afford to pay their agent, the buyer's not going to look at the house where they're going to have to pay their agent, are they? Right. So I think that you are cutting out a lot of your audience that you're trying to sell your house to. If you pick option 3, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. But I think it's going to be, it's either going to be 1 or 2. I've had sellers who have just done 1, yes, let's just offer this much. And then I've had sellers who have done the second one where we negotiate.
Okay. Now let's talk about the interest rate.
Oh, the interest rates.
Wow.
Everybody's talking about the interest rates.
Yeah.
How
does that impact
They're
real
in the
estate?
6s, and FHA and VA are kind of in the lower 5s. And everybody's excited because we dropped a half point. The Fed's dropped a half. That's a huge.
That's huge.
The thing is the interest rates came down before that in anticipation of that drop.
Oh,
so that drop, and when the Feds drop the interest rate, it doesn't always have to affect the mortgage rate. And I'm not a lender, but I know that it dropped, and I've read a lot of great things from lenders recently in anticipation of that.
Okay.
And we anticipate maybe 5 to 6 more drops throughout the next year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that we will be, mortgage rates will drop in anticipation of that, just slowly. It's a trickle.
Yeah.
Usually the rates go up slow and drop down fast, and this time they went up fast and now they're dropping down
slowly.
Slowly, incrementally.
Okay.
But it shouldn't stop a buyer from wanting to buy a house.
Well,
I mean, if you buy a house for $500,000 today at the interest rate, in 10 years with 5% appreciation a year, you will have made $300,000 in equity on your house.
Right.
And in the meantime, if the rates continue to drop and you've got a good lender, you can recast that loan in the first 2 years and not be charged anything and get the lower rate.
I see. So what's the market like right now? There's not a lot out there, right?
There's not a lot out there. It has been kind of like a desert for the last 2 years, but it's really picked up.
Oh, good.
And the interest rates have affected it. I think it's really picked up.
So if someone thinking of selling their house now might be a good time, even though we kind of think of fall as not a good time?
Fall is a good time after Labor Day, usually to about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
This year we have a presidential election, so I'm going to say probably it's going to slow down a little bit before the presidential election, but looking forward to a really busy spring market. I really believe that.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, I mean, and we're waiting. We've been waiting for this for 2.5 years.
So if someone is having, let's say someone's having trouble selling their house, would you say for them then to get off the market and come back later?
Yep.
Or, okay.
I would. I mean, if you've had your house on the market for months and months and months and it hasn't sold and nobody's looking at it, you know, let's take it off the market.
Take it off the market.
Let's take another look at it and see what we can't do to present it better.
Right.
Let's take another look at the price to see that we are competitive in price, and let's wait for a busier market if you can. Although I have bought most times when I've bought in December. It's a great time to buy.
Yeah, I would think because someone is looking for a buyer immediately, right? They need to sell for a reason.
That's right. If you are selling in December, you need to sell for a reason. And if you're buying in December, you're a viable buyer.
I don't know how you keep all of that in your head.
It's not easy.
It's something else. Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest.